Welcome to WSYK, What Should You Know? I'm Ethan Block, and what should you know? What should you know? You're watching What Should You Know? Because let's be honest, what should you know? So when someone comes up to you and asks if you know about the bailout, this is what you should say. Of course I know about the bailout. Are you serious? You're talking about like $700 bajillion. What? We're spending $700 billion to bail out the economy? Well, not quite. What we all need to be clear on is that this $700 billion is being used to buy investments, albeit investments. But investments nonetheless that are backed by real houses, albeit overpriced houses. So we're not just flushing money down the toilet, we're buying shit that may be worth something someday. So to think we're just losing $700 billion is ludicrous. We are investing up to $700 billion in toxic assets that are toxic because nobody wants to buy them. You see, if no one wants to buy an asset, there's no way to know what that asset is worth. So for example, if I want to sell this pen, but no one wants to buy my pen, what's the pen worth? Nothing. But now if the government steps in and says, okay, we think that pen is worth somewhere in the ballpark of a few $100 million, well then we've just recreated the market for my pen. Starting to understand? Maybe? Well, hold your horses, because it ain't over yet. Because the Treasury is going to be using something called a reverse auction to buy back all these toxic assets. So basically the Treasury is going to put out purchase bids for certain collections of mortgage-backed securities. They're going to be like, hey financial institutions, we want to buy this particular security for this price. Then financial institutions will submit sell bids for those same collections of securities, saying, hey Treasury, we have those securities and we're willing to sell them to you at this price. The stipulation is, however, that the financial institution's sell bid has to be less than the Treasury's purchase bid. And then the Treasury will make purchases from the lowest bidders. It's like a really f***ed up Price is Right without Drew Carey or Bob Barker. Spay and neuter your pets, my friends. So that's the logistics of the bailout. Let's talk about the actual bailout bill for a minute. The initial clean version of the bill, which clocked in at just 2.5 pages, was at first rejected by Congress because Americans all over the country were calling their congressmen and were like, hey, we don't trust you. You guys aren't cool. Don't bail out all these mistake makers. So instead, because Congress is brilliant, we passed a bloated 450-pager that included $150 billion in tax breaks, like weird specific tax breaks for manufacturers of wooden arrows. Who uses wooden arrows? I prefer the metal ones. But don't be fooled, the panic isn't over quite yet. But what took place this past week are essential steps in hopefully restoring trust in our financial markets. So now the American people will own a crap ton of CDOs and mortgage-backed securities that nobody else had the balls to buy. That's what I know about the bailout. This has been another episode of WSYK, What Should You Know? I'm Ethan Block, and what should you know? What should you know? You're watching What Should You Know? Because let's be honest, what should you know?
Banker Cat does not approve your loan.